Good morning to all the students of class 9. Most welcome to all of you in this video lecture. This is Karunesh Mishra, subject teacher of social study from Lakshmi Prasad Memorial Public School, Gola Bazar, Gorakhpur. Dear students, in the previous classes we were studying about the first chapter of economics, that is the story of village Palampur. Dear students, as I have explained you that the Palampur is a hypothetical village. Hypothetical means it is an imaginary. The village Palampur does not really exist. It is an example of well-developed village where all the necessary things which are very essentials for the development of an areas are available, like electricity, transportations, well developed system of irrigations, well developed system of irrigations, schools and health sector, etc. Farming is the main activity in the Palampur. That means most of the people depend on farming for earning their livelihood. Some non-farming activities such as a small scale manufacturing, dairy, transport, etc. are also carried out on a limited scales over there, and these are known as the non-farming activities. Productions activities need various types of resources. As you know, the natural resources, man-made items, human efforts, money, etc. These all are very necessary for the productions activities. So let's study about these in a details. Dear students, as I have explained you that Palampur is well connected with the neighboring villages and towns. The neighboring village of Palampur is the Raiganj, which is at 3 kilometers, at a distance of 3 kilometers from Palampur, and all way the roads connects the village, and all way the roads connects the village Palampur to Raiganj and further on to the nearest small town of Sahpur. Many kinds of transport are visible on the road of Palampur, starting from bullock carts, tana, bogies, that means wooden cart drawn by the buffaloes, loaded with the jaggery. In Hindi it is called good, and other commodities to motor vehicles like motorcycle, jeeps, tractors and trucks. So these are the means of transportations which can be seen on the road of village Palampur. This village has about 450 families. That means there were 450 families in the village of Palampur, and 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. Their houses, some of them were quite large, made of bricks with the cement plastering, and the scheduled caste, that means Dalit Dalits comprises one third of the population. That means there were 150 Dalit families also over there in the village Palampur, and they live in one corner of the village in a much smaller houses, some of which are of mud and stuff. Most of the houses have electric connections. That means there were the facility of electricity in the village Palampur. Most of the houses have electric connections. Electricity powers all the tube wells in the fields and is used in various types of small business also. Dear students, Palampur has two primary schools and one high school. There is a primary health center which is run by the government, and one private dispensary where the sick are treated. So all these descriptions shows that the Palampur has a fairly well developed village. It has a well developed system of irrigations, school, health centers, transportations, electricities. So all these facilities are there in the village Palampur, comparing these facilities with the houses in your nearby village. The story of Palampur imaginary village, and this story will take us through the different types of productions activities in the village. So in village, dear students, across the India, farming is the main productions activity, main productions activities. The other productions activities referred to as non-farming activities, including the small manufacturing, transport, shopkeeping, etc., are also carried out in the village side. We shall take a look at both these types of activities, that means farming and non-farming, agriculture or non-agricultural activities. So let's start, dear students. We are going to discuss the topics organizations of productions. As you all know that the aim of production is to produce the goods and services. The aim of production is to produce the goods and services that we want. There are four requirements for productions of goods and services. What are these? Let's know about it in detail. The first requirement of production is a land. Dear students, if you are going to produce goods, first things which you need is the land, and other natural resources such as water, forest, minerals. These are also needed for the productions of goods and services. So this is the first requirement of productions, and the second requirement of production is the labor means the peoples who will do the work in industry or in enterprises. So some productions activities require highly educated workers to perform the necessary task, other activities require workers who can do the manual work. Each worker is providing the labor necessary for productions. So labor is the second requirement of the productions, and the third requirement of productions is the physical capital. What is physical capitals, dear students? The variety of inputs which are required at the every stage during the productions is known as the physical capital. Each worker is known as the physical capital. What are the items that come under the physical capital? Let's know. There are two kinds of physical capital, fixed capital and working capital. What is the fixed capital? Dear students, the tools, machine and buildings which we use for many years and which we do not need to buy every times are come under the fixed capital. So very simple. Tools and machines range from very simple tools such as farmer plow to the sophisticated machines such as generator, turbines, computer, etc. Tools, machine, buildings can be used in productions over many years and are called the fixed capital. The second physical capital is the working capital. Raw material and money in hand are known as the working capitals. So productions requires a variety of raw materials such as a yarn used by the weavers and clay used by the potters. So also some money is always required during the productions to make payments and to buy some necessary things or to buy some necessary items. Raw materials and money in hand are called working capital. Unlike tools, machine and buildings, these are used in productions. So there is a fourth requirement for the productions. You will need knowledge and enterprises to be able to put together land, labor and physical capitals and produce an output either to use yourself or to sell in the market. So these days this is called human capitals. We shall learn more about the human capital in the next chapters. Dear students, so there are two kinds of physical capital, fixed capital and working capital. Tool, machinery and buildings. Tool, machines and buildings are fixed capitals, and raw materials and money in hand are working capital. Every production is organized by combining land, labor, physical capitals and human capitals, which are known as the factor of productions. As we read through the story of Palampur, we will learn more about the first three factors of productions. So let's know. We are going to study the topics, the first topics of the chapters, farming in Palampur. Dear students, land is fixed. Dear students, dear students, productions, farming in Palampur we are going to study. This is the most important topics of the chapters. Land is fixed. Farming is the main productions activity in Palampur. Farming is the main productions activity in Palampur. 75% of the people who are working are dependent on the farming for their livelihood. The well-being of these peoples is closely related to the productions on the farms. So farming is the main productions activities over there in Palampur. 75% of the peoples who are working are dependent on the farming for their livelihood. They could be farmers or farm laborers. The well-being of these peoples is closely related to the productions on the farms. But remember that there is a basic constraints in raising from productions. Land area under the cultivations is practically fixed. Land is fixed. Since 1960 in Palampur there has been no expansion in land area under cultivations. By then some of the wasteland in the village had been converted to the cultivable land. Dear students, there exists no further scopes to increase farm productions by bringing new land under cultivations. Okay students, so land is fixed. There is no further scopes to increase farm productions by bringing new land under the cultivation. So the most important question based on this paragraph, which are often asked in the examinations, highlight the basic constraint in raising the productions from a farm. So what are the basic constraints in raising productions from a farm? Let's know about it. The basic constraints in raising productions on a farm from a farms are: the land area under the cultivation is practically fixed. The land area under cultivation is practically fixed. And the second reason, there has been no expansion in land area under cultivations after 1960. By then some wasteland in the village had been converted to the cultivable land. And the third, there is no further scope to increase the land area under cultivations, as no new land is available. So this is the very important, which are often asked in examinations from this para. Dear students, and explain the second questions based on this. Explain the term physical capital, mention its different types with the example. Dear students, as I have explained you that physical capital is the capital that is further used in the productions of more goods such as tools, equipments, machines and raw materials. The two types of physical capital are fixed capital and working capital. The fixed capital, it is that capital which can be used over and over again, and this capital lasts for a longer time. The examples of fixed capitals are such as machinery, machines, building and tools. These are the fixed capitals. And working capital consists of those goods that are used up in the process of production, such as raw material and money. Okay students, got it? The questions which are based on this para also. distinguish between the Kharif and Rabi crops. As I have explained you about the Kharif and Rabi crops which are grown in the village Palampur. Dear students, Kharif crops or Kharif seasons, it is identified with the rainy or wet season. Crops are sown in the month of June and July and harvested in the month in between November and January. Kharif crops are jowar and bajra, and the Rabi season's crops, it is identified with the winter or dry seasons. Crops are sown in the month of October and November and harvested in April and May. Wheat is an important Rabi crop. Okay students, so this is the distinctions or differences between the Kharif and Rabi seasons crops. State the importance of growing more than one crop on a piece of land. So growing more than one crop on a piece of land is known as the multiple cropping. The importance of growing more than one crop on a piece of land is: number 1, it retains the fertility of the soil. Number 2, it generates employment for many people throughout the year. And number 3, it benefits the farmers economically. What is the multiple cropping? How does it help in farmers' prosperity? Let's know about it. When 2 or more crops are grown on the given piece of land during a year, it is known as the multiple cropping. This is the most common way of increasing productions on a given piece of land. Raising 2 or more crops from a given piece of land in a year translate into corresponding increase in a farmer's income and helps in the farmer's prosperity, and also helps in the farmer's prosperity, dear students. Hello dear students, what are the 3 differences between land and capital? Let's know about it. This is a very important questions, and it also asked or come in examinations. So the 3 main differences between the land and capital are: land, it is fixed factor of productions, whereas capital is the man-made factors of productions. Land is a free gift of the natures, whereas capital is a man-made source of production. And third one, land varies in fertility, whereas capitals is of two types: fixed capital and working capital. Next questions based on this: capital is the basic need in agriculture. How is it arranged by Indian farmers? Explain it. So the answer of these questions could be: most of the small farmers borrow money from the money lenders or traders to arrange the capital. The money lenders and traders charge a high rate of interest from the farmers. Medium and large farmers have their own saving from the farming, and they also get loans from the banks. Okay students. Hello dear students, the most important points of these chapters: is there a way one can grow more from the same land? Let's know about it. In the kind of crops grown and facilities available, dear students, Palampur would resemble a village of western part of the state of Uttar Pradesh. All land is cultivated in Palampur. No land is left idle. During the rainy seasons, the peoples of Palampur used to grow jowar and bajra as a Kharif crops in the rainy seasons. These plants are used to feed the cattle It is followed by the cultivations of potatoes between October and December. That means in between the October and December, the people of or the farmers of the Palampur used to grow potato on the given piece of land. In the winter seasons, Rabi crops are grown over there. Fields are sown with the wheat, which is a Rabi crops. From the wheat product, farmers keep enough wheat for the family's consumptions and the surplus for the family consumptions, and sell the surplus wheat at the market at Raiganj. So they sell the surplus wheat at the market of Raiganj, and a part of the land area is also devoted to the sugar cane, to the cultivations of sugar cane, which is harvested once every year. So sugar cane in its raw form as a jaggery is sold to the traders in Sapur. Say so the farmers of the Sapur sold the jaggery as a raw materials to the traders in Sapur. The main reason why farmers are able to grow 3 different crops in a year in Palampur is due to the well-developed system of irrigation. So due to the well-developed irrigations of system, it becomes possible over there to grow 3 different types of crops in a year. The farmers of the Palampurs are able to grow 3 different types of crops in a year due to well developed irrigation system, due to well developed system of irrigations. Electricity came early to the Palampur, and its major impact was to transform the system of irrigations. Before this, dear students, Persian wheels were used by the farmers to draw water from the wells and to irrigate small fields. People saw that the electrics run tube wells could irrigate much larger part of area of much larger area of land more effectively. So the first few tube wells were installed by the government. Soon however farmers started setting up private tube wells. As the results, by mid 1970 the entire cultivated area of 200 hectares was irrigated. So not all villages in India have such a high level of irrigation system, dear students. Apart from the riverine plains, coastal regions in our country are well irrigated. In the contrast, plateau regions such as the Deccan Plateau have a low level of irrigations. Of the total cultivated area in a country, a little less than 40% is irrigated even today. So in the remaining areas, farming is largely dependent on rainfall. To grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the year is known as the multiple cropping. So what is the multiple cropping? To grow more than one crops on a given piece of land is known as the multiple cropping. So it is the most common way to increase the productions on a given piece of land. All farmers in Palampur grow at least 2 main crops, Kharif crops and Rabi crops, and many are growing the potatoes as the third crop in the past 15 to 20 years. Okay, students.